At this point in our journey, you would have finished the heel flap and are ready to work on the heel turn. The heel turn is worked in one of the approaches to short rows. So this video will be a little longer. Here you see the heel flap, and I'll show you on the sock exactly where we are right now. We are creating this turn that looks like a triangular bridge. It's not very sharp, but it does remind us of a triad bridge. And you can see how we can use it also as a way to become a symbolic element on our socks. So now that we're starting the turn, we're not purling that second stitch. We are knitting 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, I'm going to wrap the 13th stitch. You see how I wrap the yarn around the stitch? And I'm going to turn, and I'm going to work back, purling. Always good to recount your stitches. Purl 1, purl 2, and now I'm going to wrap the next stitch. The wrapping means that your knitting yarn goes around the stitch and the stitch goes back onto the needle. You turn, and now you're going to knit, knit. Now you will take the next stitch, you will lift up that wrap, put it together with the stitch, and you're going to knit the stitch, the wrap, and the next stitch all together. And now you're going to wrap the next stitch. And you will turn, purl 1, purl 2, purl 3. Next you will see a gap. That's where you wrapped. So take the stitch, lift up the wrap, and purl the stitch, the wrap, and the next stitch, all of those together. And now wrap the next stitch. Now these are not your traditional short rows. This is a little different. I like this design of the heel on the socks that are worked on this type of yarn. It's a good beginner-friendly one, introducing you to a little bit of a tricky technique midway through the project. You come to that stitch before the gap, you take the stitch, you lift up the wrap, and you knit those together with the next stitch. And now you wrap the next stitch. And you turn. You purl until that stitch before the gap. When you get to that stitch before the gap, you take the stitch, you lift up the wrap, and you purl those together with the next stitch. And you wrap the next one. and you turn. And you can already see the turn starting to take place. You're going to knit until that stitch before the gap. You will slip that stitch, pull up the yarn that was a wrap, those two together with the next stitch, knit them all together, and wrap the one that comes after. Now you turn, you purl until that stitch that's right before the gap. When you get there, you again take the stitch, pull up the wrap from before. The stitch, the wrap, and the next stitch are purled together. You wrap the next stitch and turn. Knit until the stitch before the wrap, before the gap. Take the stitch, the wrap from the row before, the stitch that comes after, and work them all together. Now wrap the next stitch and turn. And purl. When you get to that gap, you do the same thing. I'm going to let you now work on your own without talking. Now when you get to those end stitches, do the same thing. If it gets confusing, remember that you can pause the video and take a look a few times. But you are doing the same thing. Even though you're getting to the very edge, you still do the same thing. Seven, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And this 13th stitch will be resolved as I come back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Now we look at the gusset. Remember how you were purling the second to last stitch and the second stitch from the beginning, and how those pearls created those horizontal little lines that looked like a bridge? Now those little horizontal purl stitches is what you're going to use to pick up the stitches along the edge of the heel flap. So you see me here putting my needle underneath that purl stitch and pulling the yarn to add a stitch. Four, five, six, 7, 8. So taking the time to do those purl stitches and following those instructions helped you now know with more ease where to pick up the stitches alongside of the gusset. 9. I really like to include this type of a heel flap on beginner sock patterns. 10, when you're still learning the construction of the sock. 11 and 12. And now I want one more at the very bottom so that there is not a gap. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So I had the pearls and I had the last stitch below the turn, and I had the last stitch before the pearls, and then one more to make sure I don't have a hole on that side of my sock. Now I'm going to knit across the stitches that have been sleeping, which are the top of the foot now. And after I finish that, I'm going to pick up the stitches on the other side of the gusset. And you will watch me do this very carefully and making sure that you pick up the same number of stitches so that the sock is even on both sides of the gusset. So remember, 1 at the very bottom or at the very beginning of the flap, right after this row, so that there is not a hole. 1 at the base of the bridge, then the 11 pearls from the heel flap bridge, and then the 1 right below. If you don't end up having space due to tension, you can pick up 13 and adjust, because we will need to redistribute the stitches. But it should work out. So 1 goes right in this here corner to avoid having a gap. Then 1 goes at the very base of the bridge. Now we pick up the pearl. Three, 4. My yarn splits a little. 5, 6, 7, 8. You see how these pearls make it very easy to see where to put the next stitch. I think it's 9. We'll recount, of course. 10, 11, 12, 'See, I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. And then here, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 13. So now I need one more here for 13. And take this 13th for number 14. So I should now have 14, 12, 14, 22. 14, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And now I want to move 6 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stitches. And now I have 6 more here. 2, 4, 6. I have to put those on the next needle, and the beginning of the round is now in the middle of the heel. That's how I will keep track of the rounds. So now you have finished the heel turn, and you picked up stitches for the gusset, and you redistributed them to have 20, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 2, 4, 6, 8, 20, and 22. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 2. Okay, once you have the middle of the heel as the beginning of the round, 20, 20, and 22, you are ready to work on the gusset. In tomorrow's email, you're going to receive the link to that video skill lesson. And I will see you tonight to catch up on our magical knitting and fairy tale realm magical stories. See you soon where fairy tales meet fiber threads.